Hello everybody, this is Reaper here with Triangle Gaming, and in this video we're doing a League of Legends guide on Jarvan IV, the Exemplar of Demacia. This is going to be a top lane guide. This is going to be a beginner's basic guide for people who've never played the game, who want to know about Jarvan, or people who've just started playing the game and they're interested in Jarvan. We're going to go over his abilities, his runes, his masteries, and his item sets. Now this might be a little bit longer than I plan on it being, but the items are in particular, there's just a lot of situational items with Jarvan. He can take the primary tank role where he's just full on tank. He can be an AD offset bruiser, and there's just a lot of different item sets for him to go with depending on who you're going against. I particularly really like playing with Jarvan. He's a top lane dominant. He's a melee fighter, but he has ranged abilities which help out a lot with everything, and we're about to go over those in a second. Actually, we're going to start those right now. Okay, so his passive ability, Martial Cadence. Jarvan IV's initial basic attack on a target deals bonus physical damage. This effect cannot occur again on the same target for a short duration. Your initial attack on anything, minions, neutral monsters, enemy champions, is going to do bonus physical damage, and it is a significant amount of damage. It's not just an extra 5 or 10 damage, but you can't just keep swapping from minion to minion to minion, and each time you attack the next minion, it's going to do physical damage. Basically, the target that you initialized, you had the initial attack on, did that big damage. It's not going to do it again to that minion or whatever for a certain amount of time, and it's a decent amount of time. Dragon Strike. Jarvan IV extends his lance, dealing physical damage and lowering the armor of all enemies in its path. Additionally, this will pull Jarvan to the Demacian standard, knocking up enemies in his path. It speaks for itself, and it actually lowers the armor by a decent amount. I think it's up to about 22 to 25% when it's maxed out for several seconds. So it helps you, with your team fights. If you hit several enemy targets with it, your allies can burn down some tanks faster, and it'll pull you to your Demacian standard, which we'll talk about here in just a second. But it does decent damage, and it has really good range on it. The Golden Aegis. Jarvan IV calls upon the ancient kings of Demacia to shield him from harm and slow surrounding enemies. If you are initiating an attack, or you're getting chased down, if you initiate the shield, it gives you basically an extra hit, basic attack. It's not a huge shield, but it is a decent little shield. And the biggest thing is it slows the surrounding enemies. So in its own way, he has 3 CCs. The Golden Aegis, which slows the enemies, and we'll talk about Cataclysm, Demacian Standard. The Demacian Standard, Jarvan IV carries the Pride of Demacia, passively granting him bonus attack speed and armor. That's passively. He'll keep that throughout the whole game. Each level you increase on Demacian Standard increases his attack speed and armor constant. Activating Demacian Standard allows Jarvan IV to place a Demacian flag that deals magic damage on impact and grants attack speed to nearby allied champions. So this is going to also assist in team fights. If you throw this down in a group of enemies and you jump to it with Dragon Strike, let's talk about that really quick. The standard, you throw down the standard, you use Dragon Strike and you aim it at the standard and you activate it, you will pull yourself to the standard. This helps out a lot with initiating attacks. This helps out a lot with getting away from enemies. If you find yourself on your own and a few enemy champions come up, you can use this to get away if you don't have your flash, or if you don't want to use your flash. Go ahead and use this to get away. I do it all the time. It's great. It's a great combo. And those are his ranged attacks that I just talked about earlier. He's a melee fighter, but he has ranged attacks. Now, Cataclysm, his ultimate. Pros and cons about this. Jarvan IV heroically leaps into battle at a target with such force that he terraforms the surrounding area to create an arena around them. The pro, enemy champions cannot get out of it physically. They have to either use their flash or teleport, which they can do to get out of it. Con, neither can you or your allies. If an enemy champion is chasing your ally and you're going to throw this down on them because they're low health and you're wanting to help your ally get away, if your ally is close enough to that enemy, when you land on them, they'll be trapped inside there too, and then they could possibly end up dying, or maybe you can both burn them down at that point, because the Cataclysm does do significant amount of damage. I mainly use this in the beginning of the game well, in the beginning of the game, I mainly use it around turrets, under turrets. When an enemy champion is on a turret, I throw this on them. They stay under the turret. They get attacked by the turret if they're attacking me, because most of the time their natural instinct is to attack you, because you're punching them in the face. But later in the game, you try to get multiple enemies in this if you can, because they're trapped inside, and your allies, if you're in your team fights, can burn them down a lot quicker. You throw down your Demacian standard also, and it increases your allies' attack speed. Okay, now that's over. Let's go ahead and get on to the masteries. Okay, so in his masteries, again, I have this zoomed in so y'all can see a little bit better. But I'm going to explain these really quickly. You can read all these as you go. You can freeze this frame or whatever and look at it for your building your masteries. Of course, if you're a beginner, you're not going to have all these points for your mastery. But as you go, this is a suggestive build that you can do for a tank. Now, this is going to be for tanking. If you're going to be doing a offset bruiser, then of course you're going to have more points in offense. But let's go over these really quick. 1 point in double-edged, or the only point in double-edged sword, melee, deal an additional 2% damage and receive an additional 1% damage. You're a tank, so this is going to help you put out some more damage, so you can be more of a threat on your own, and you can take a lot more damage as a tank, so that's okay. Sorcery, you can go back and forth between Fury and Sorcery, however you want to play on that. Fury gives you the 5% attack speed when it's maxed out. I'm an ability spammer, so I like the Sorcery. 5% cooldown reduction helps out a lot with his abilities, so he can get away with his Demacian standard. Brute Force, plus 10 attack damage at level 18. Going to give you a considerable amount of attack damage when you max out your level. And Martial Mastery, plus 4 attack damage, is going to help you out from the beginning of the game to the end. Okay, now the defense block reduces incoming damage from champion basic attacks by 2, so their basic attacks only is decreased by 2. Now unyielding is reduces all incoming damage from champions by 2. That's all incoming damage, not just the basic attack. Enchanted armor, this is pretty much, this is a tank set right here. Increased bonus armor and magic resistance by 5%. Veteran scars, plus 36 health. This is going to help you out in the beginning of the game. Really help you stay in your lane a little bit longer. Juggernaut, plus 3% maximum health. This is the main reason you want veteran scars, is for this right here. For a tank, plus 3% maximum health goes well with this. And also hardiness, plus 5 armor. It explains itself for a tank. Swiftness reduces the effectiveness of slows. This just goes into tenacity. This is just slows. This isn't stuns. And this is basically going to decrease the amount of the slow and the length of the slow. Perseverance regenerates 1% of missing health every 5 seconds. In the end game, when you have 3,500 health and you're down to 1,000 health, that's 2,500 you're missing. That's 2,500 or 25 health points every 5 seconds on top of whatever you're already receiving in the game from your build. Legendary Guardian, plus 4 armor and 2 magic resistance for each nearby enemy champion. So when you're initiating these team fights at the end of the game, you have 5 enemy champions around you, or even in the beginning of the game rather, you're going to get plus 4 armor and 2 magic resist for each nearby enemy champion. Tenacious reduces the duration of crowd control effects by 15%. This is another tenacity item or skill, and it's going to reduce all crowd control effects, not just the slows like swiftness did. Okay, let's go ahead and jump over to the runes. Okay, so on the runes, pretty simple. For your marks, the greater mark of armor penetration plus 1.28 armor penetration for each mark gives you a total of about 11.5 armor penetration. The seals, the greater seal of armor plus 1 armor for each seal, that's 9 total armor. And then your greater glyph of magic resist plus 1.34 for each glyph. Going to give you a total of 12.1 magic resist. So this is going to go on top of what your build is in the game. He's going to have his initial amount, and then you're going to have your items that are going to increase these, and this is going to be on top of all that. And then your quintessences, the greater quintessence of attack damage. So this is going to give you that bonus attack damage plus 2.25 attack damage for each one, gives you a total of plus 6.8. So this is just going to help you out on top of your masteries and your items in the game. So it gives you that boost on your attack also. Alright, let's go ahead and jump over to the items. Okay, so in his items, I'm going to go over these really quick. This is going to take longer than the other part because of all the situational items. But I'm just going to give you a quick explanation of why you would use certain items at certain times, depending on what champions you're going against in your top lane. Um, Whether they be ability power, your magic powered champions, or your AD champions, or just another tank champion. So your warding totem is going to help out with spotting, spotting out the jungler so you don't get ganked. You Most of the time you place this in the river on the top lane because you're more likely to get ganked. The health potions, get plenty of health potions when you can in the beginning of the game because they're going to help you stay in your lane longer. Once you get to the end of the game, you're not going to want to use that inventory slot, and they're not going to be as useful. So don't worry about it at the end of the game. But in the beginning of the game, get them. Also, mana potions too. Um, Now, the Doran's shield and Doran's blade, the situational, that's how you're wanting to go. For instance, if you're wanting to go AD, then you're going to go with Doran's blade. It gives you attack damage and lifesteal, also with additional health. And your Doran's shield gives you health, but it gives you health regen and blocks damage from champion basic attacks. So it's going to help you out in the beginning. Later on, these don't build into any other items, so you can sell them later on, but in the beginning of the game, they're going to serve you well. Your first recall, you're going back to the town the first time. Either you've been killed or you've killed the enemy champion, and you're going to go back and spend some of the money you've made. If you're wanting to go attack damage, if you're being fed pretty well by the enemy champion, or you're wanting to go AD anyways, you've got the Brutalizer and the Pickaxe, which are good starting items for attack damage. Your Brutalizer gives you a faster cooldown on all your abilities, and it also gives you armor penetration. The Pickaxe just gives you attack damage. It's cheaper, but it builds into some other items that might be more useful later on. The Giant's Belt and the Warden's Mail, these are tank items. The Warden's Mail gives you armor, and it also decreases the attacker's attack speed. So if you're going against a high AS attack speed champion up top, you might want to get this to slow them down just a little bit on their basic attacks. The Giant's Belt just gives you a good amount of health in the beginning, but it builds into a lot better items later on that we'll talk about. The boots, necessarily won't be your first item you buy unless you have plenty of money going back and you're wanting to build armor and you're wanting to move around a lot faster. But the Ninja Tabby boots give you armor and block 10% of damage from enemy champions. The Kindle Gem this is a magical item. If you're going against an AP champion, you'll get this because it's not magical itself, or magic resist itself, but the items it builds into have a lot of magic resist most of the time, or most of the items do anyways. It gives you increased health, and it also gives you 10% cooldown reduction. If you're just going straight tank, full on tank, health armor, if you're going against a lot of AD champions, then this is going to be your primary goal. This is mainly my goal in most of my games because I'm going straight tank unless they're or straight armor tank unless they have a bunch of AP champions, primarily AP champions, then I'll change this. But Randuin's Omen, this gives you a decent amount of health and a large amount of armor, but its biggest deal is it decreases the attacker's attack speed by 10% each time they strike you. And you can activate it if you're trying to run away from a champion or from the enemy champions, or you're trying to chase down the enemy champions. You can activate it when you're close range to them, and it slows their movement speed for initially for 2 seconds, but it increases with your amount of armor that you have in your magic resist. Your Sunfire Cape gives you increased armor and health, but it deals damage to nearby enemies, all nearby enemies, not just to select one. So this is good if you're going against a lot of melee champions. The Thorn Mail gives you a large amount of armor and also deals 30% of the damage that you receive goes back to the enemy champion that struck you. So it's really good against high attack speed champions also. The Frozen Heart, at least one of your champions in your team, generally you want to have this for the team fights later on in the end game. This gives you a significant amount of armor, plus 100 armor, and it gives you a large amount of mana and 20% cooldown, but it reduces the attack speed of all nearby champions. So on top of your Randuin's Omen, which decreases the attacker's attack speed to you that are attacking you, this decreases all enemy champions around you. And then we've already talked about the armor boots. The damage situational. If you're going AD and you have on the other team they have a lot of, or they're building tanky, or they have a lot of tanky champions, the Last Whisper will help out because it gives you 40 attack damage, but it ignores 35% of the target's armor. If they're not building tanky, don't worry about it. The Black Cleaver, this builds from the Brutalizer, gives you increased health, increased attack damage, your 10% cooldown reduction still, and your 10 armor penetration. But this also decreases the enemy's champion's armor by 5% for 4 seconds, and it can stack to up to 25% on that specific champion you're attacking. So that's actually a pretty good item, especially going against tanky champions. The Frozen Mallet gives you a large amount of health, 700 health, gives you a decent amount of attack damage, but it slows down the target's movement speed for 1.5 seconds. That's why it's called the Frozen Mallet. It slows the enemy champion down. So you can run them down easier, or your allies can run them down easier, especially if they're a really fast champion. The Ravenous Hydra, this gives you a large amount of attack damage, 15 health regen, and lifesteal. It has an AoE on each attack, but it also has an active that deals an increased large amount of damage on the AoE to all surrounding units. Your Blade of the Ruined King, this increases your attack speed along with damage, and it also gives you your lifesteal just like the Hydra does. But if the active on it deals 10% of target champion's total health, maximum health. So if you're going against a really tanky champion, this is going to do a significant amount of damage to them, and it also heals you for that amount. And you steal their movement speed on top of yours, so you have increased movement speed for a couple seconds afterwards. Now the magic resist, this is a situational, like if you're going against a mixed units group, like if there's a lot of AP and AD, you might swap out one of those armor items above for an AP item, or a magic resist item, I should say. Your Spirit Visage gives you increased health, increased magic resist, your cooldown reduction, and gives you increased health regen per 5 seconds, a good amount of health regen. Your Mercury Treads, instead of getting your armor boots, you're going to go with your magic resist boots. If you're going to have a full team of ability power champions, you're going to use these instead of the armor. They're going to give you the same movement speed boost, but it also gives you increased tenacity. So all the crowd controlling, the CCs enemy champions have, this reduces them all by 35%, whether it's the amount of movement speed reduction or the time on stuns and stuff of that nature. So that increases on top of your masteries. Your Maw Malmortis, this gives you increased attack damage and magic resist, but it also increases attack damage for every 2% of your missing health, of up to 35 attack, up to a maximum of 35 attack damage. So you can get a total attack damage of 95 with this item. But the biggest thing about it is that upon taking a magic blow that would knock you below 30% health, magic blow, then it gives you a 400 point magic shield for 5 seconds. It's not passive, it's not forever, it's lasts 5 seconds, but it's only 4 magic damage. Your Banshee's Veil gives you increased magic resist and 450 health, but this gives you a shield also. Here, let's look at this really quick. Grants a shield that blocks the next enemy ability. The shield refreshes after no damage is taken from the enemy champions after 25 seconds. Grants 45 health regen per 5 seconds for up to 10 seconds. So basically, you'd get 90 health for 10 seconds. Over 10 seconds after taking damage from an enemy champion or when the spell shield breaks. Okay. Your Guardian Angel, this gives you armor and magic resist. So if you got a good mix of enemy champions, this is going to work out well for you both ways. But the biggest thing is when you take a large amount of damage, if one of their abilities just takes away a quarter of your health, or just a large attack, it will restore 30% of your maximum health and mana after 4 seconds of stasis, though. Okay, that's pretty much going to do it for the items. You can mix and match these, change these up however you want to. As you play, you'll find what works better for you, and I'm sure I didn't go over all the items, but this is my main core build and situational builds that I look at. If I want to go with something different, you can always look at all the items in the game, in the store, and get something different. But this is pretty much what I suggest going with, and of course you can change it as you want to. But now I'm going to go ahead and play some gameplay footage so you can see the abilities of Jarvan from the beginning of the game to the end of the game. You can see some team fights and everything of that nature. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll catch you after the footage is over. Alright guys, so that's going to do it for this guide. I hope you found the suggestions useful. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, hit the like button below and subscribe to the channel. We'll be having a lot more guides coming out between me and Sayoxy on the League of Legends champions. And if you didn't, thank you for watching, and have a good one. We'll see you around next time.